spirituality, suddenly our genitals get more activated. So all the traumas that we have in our balls, let's say, get triggered before anything else because it's chemically connected.
I find the spiritual cloak gets pretty thin around like sex, money, anything that like hits at the kind of more primal aspects of the human.
The thing is that the pituitary gland, the hypophysis, is the one that opens the crown chakra to the higher self, to all the divine. But at the same time, it's the same gland that controls the main needs of a human body. So sexuality, food, sleeping. Of course, sleeping is controlled by the pineal gland, but those two glands, the third eye, the vision of everything, and the gland that controls the expansion of the spirit, are the ones that regulate our food and sexuality. So, when we start to connect to spirituality, suddenly our genitals get more activated. So all the traumas that we have in our balls, let's say, get triggered before anything else, uh, because it's chemically connected. So that's why when we start the path of spirituality, one of the main things that we have to face is that we are not going to the spirit leaving the body. We're actually going straight to the trauma of it. um, and and that's terrifying for a lot of people that are going to the spiritual world. So I think that's why it's so exhausting, because instead of facing it, a lot of people just decorate it with spiritualism instead of talking about the trauma.
Spirituality can be like an escape hatch. You're like, this is getting too heavy. I'm gonna go to the heavens. I'm up here. Yeah, yeah. How do you, as a I don't know, a human, guide yourself safely into the contractions and the kind of shadows and the quote unquote traumas that you or one holds within themselves to be able to create resolution? What does that process look like?
Well, I allow myself to go deep into them. Like whenever I have a trauma, a conflict, I just allow myself to live it fully, um, to face it fully. Like if I go through depression, I want to go deep into that depression. I don't try to go out of it, or to try to show up that I'm fine. I usually, if I don't feel fine, if I don't feel well, I just you will notice. You will clearly notice, because I'm I usually speak about it, or yeah, I don't have a problem to on hiding those emotions or those traumas. I usually speak a lot about them, and that was one of the main things that people follow when I was doing the project of the I am in 2020, 2021, because every conversation that I published, or everything that I said, it went deep into my own personal shit. And 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 I for me, it was therapy. It was not teaching. So people were following what I was doing, but for me it was like constant therapy. So so I think that one of the ways that I face it is, or that I transcend it, is by allowing it, instead of just trying to do something different to feel fine.
It's like the wisdom of femininity.
Yes. Yeah. To allow it all in. Yeah.
Yeah, guys see gals as being, like quote unquote crazy because of that. Because they're like present with like, this is what it is in this moment, and I'm gonna feel it. And if you, as a guy or a masculine person consciousness, I think it can feel like something that I experience is I feel almost like a frustration or a fear. I think it's like a fear. If a girl is experiencing an emotion that's kind of heavy, I feel like I'm failing. I feel like we're never going to come out of this. I feel like I need to make this stop. I need to fix this because we're never going to get out of this. And in fact, I believe what I'm doing in trying to fix, I'm actually interrupting her in her process. And if I can just trust, and witness, then we can feel all the way through the bottom of that. I think that men, it's interesting and maybe apt that the most common way of death, from my understanding, with middle-aged men is actually them ending their own lives, perhaps because of a bottling up of this stuff. And the wisdom of femininity is the ability to, as I feel, I move with it, and it is, and sometimes it looks ugly, and sometimes it's scary, and sometimes it's really happy, and sometimes it's this, but I just feel all the way. I'm just on this ride, and I'm just allowing myself the fluidity and the arc like nature to be able to ride this shit out.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why men live shorter than women.
Yeah, yeah, hold on, that's right.
um, yeah, it's the ability to allow every emotion and energy, every emotion, feeling to be used as energy instead of something that is wrong or right. And and yeah, I mean, for myself, every time that I allow myself to live deeply my bad emotions, the leap of the results is bigger than if I try to just overcome it. Like, because our society, our religion, it's all built about being happy. So you have to be happy, you have to feel fine, you have to accomplish this. And life is not about that. Like, life is not about accomplishing something, because the only accomplishment you can actually achieve in your life is death. So that's the only accomplishment you have. That's the only finish of a process that you have, is death. So so all the rest in the middle is just waves and process. Is not completion. So so this idea of I have to do this so I can feel happy is a constant war against yourself, on pushing yourself to edges that maybe you don't have to, and to leave. And that's what takes you to so many traumas, because we try to escape from emotions that are happening in that specific moment, and because we don't allow ourselves to feel it, and we just want for everything and everyone to be fine, um, we just accumulate that into the future, and eventually it explodes. And that's why we create a trauma. So I think that the best way is just to allow yourself to feel everything, and recognizing that um, to be a high spiritual being is not about being constantly in samadhi. Uh, it's about being everywhere, in hell too.